Welcome to Level Up Architect, the channel where we explore the world of architecture one video at a time. I'm your host Lionel, and today we will be looking at my 5 favorite completed projects from Moshe Safdie. That means I won't be considering buildings that are still in the conceptual phase or buildings that are still being built at the moment. I will only be looking at buildings that are completed at the time of this recording. Let's go! This is Moshe Safdie. He is the principal architect of Safdie Architects. He is an Israeli-Canadian-American. This gives him quite a wide cultural background because he has 3 citizenships. I think this gives him quite an edge when designing because of his wider frame of reference compared to other architects. He notably did his internship with Louis Kahn and was responsible to oversee the World Exhibition of 1967 in Montreal. I would like to start with Sky Habitat Residential Development. This project is located in Singapore and was completed in 2016. It is a high-density housing development that's conceptualized as a village located on the slopes of a hill. You will see that it has a very terraced form and is made up of 2 high-rise towers connected by public spaces. What I find interesting about this project is it is a continuation of the concepts Moshe Safdie developed early in his career, and you will see some of the DNA of this project in later projects. I also enjoy the way that the building communicates its function on the facade with its structure. You can see the presence of these almost lattice-like girders that runs through an entire level of the building. This is also where the public spaces that are suspended in the air are located. He focused a lot on the interstitial spaces, but I don't think the interstitial spaces and the public spaces are as powerful as some of his earlier work, although I do believe that the way these public spaces are formulated are a result of the sheer size and high density of this project. The next building I would like to look at is the Salt Lake City Public Library. It is located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and was completed in 2003. The reason I chose this building as my number 4 pick is because of its incredible connection to the urban fabric. This library truly becomes This library truly becomes part of the urban fabric or the city, and the city becomes part of it. Its form is made up of a big triangular shape that houses the book stacks and reading facilities, a rectangular shape that houses the admin facilities, and a crescent-shaped wall that is separated from the library itself in order to create an enclosed urban room, they call it. What I really enjoy about this project is how it integrates itself with the public very much on street level. It has a variety of public facilities like amphitheaters. It has this gigantic walkway that snakes all the way from the bottom on top of the crescent wall with a bunch of steps all the way up to a viewing platform at the top, and from there you can also access the rooftop terrace garden. They call it a reading garden. It's very nice. It gives back to the community. What I wonder is what happens to this walkway when it rains. It's a very, very nice building, but I foresee this becoming a bit of an aqueduct. It already looks like an aqueduct from the start, but maybe it's an aqueduct for people instead. But maybe when it rains, it becomes more like a river. Only the people there will tell. Maybe I should visit the building and see for myself. The Marina Bay Sands ArtScience Museum. This sculptural building is a well-known landmark in Singapore and was completed in 2011. It stands below the Marina Bay Sands Hotel, which most people will recognize from movies such as Crazy Rich Asians. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's a very good movie. I'm cheating a little bit here because this is sort of a 2-for-1 project, but I'm going to focus on the Marina Bay Sands ArtScience Museum, which is a museum dedicated to the combination of art and science. I do also think that the Marina Bay Sands Hotel is a very good building to look at, but I want to focus primarily on the ArtScience Museum. A lot of people describe the building as a lotus flower that has opened, and I think that's a very fitting example of what it looks like. At the base, it's sort of made up of 3 components. It's the top exhibition space, a bottom exhibition space that's below a lily pond, and a big atrium that connects the 2. I think this building is very genius because of the section it makes. Here you can see the top exhibition space and the sunken exhibition space below the lily pond with the atrium in the middle. The way this form functions is by capturing light, and especially when it comes to exhibitions, light is such an incredibly important substance to work with. These top roof lights capture sun, and it bounces it all the way down to the exhibition space, and by the time it reaches the exhibition space, it's bounced several times, which creates a soft, diffuse light, perfect for all sorts of exhibitions. It is a great example of how sculptural architecture can be. This is the Yad Vashem Holocaust History Museum. It is located on Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, Israel, and was completed in 2005. What I enjoy most about this project is the way it takes its visitor on a journey through the history of the Holocaust and ends up with a very positive message once the journey is complete. The form of the building is organized around or alongside a triangular spine. This central spine that runs through the entire building, cutting through the hillside. Simultaneously, it also hides the exhibition spaces on the left and the right, and allowing only controlled lighting into the building. It very much reminds me of Daniel Lieberskind's Jewish Museum, not in terms of its form, because the form of Lieberskind's museum is very proud and very contemporary, while Moshe Safdie's museum blends a little bit more into the landscape, or rather tries to hide, which may be an appropriate metaphor in this case. The similarities are mostly, for me, in terms of the spatial qualities and the types of spaces that Safdie and Lieberskind created within the museums themselves. I think the most impressive part is this final moment when you have reached the end of the journey through the History Museum and you come to this point in this triangular hallway, which then starts opening up into the landscape and reveals a very, very nice view of Jerusalem. It's a very powerful metaphor, and it's a very beautiful building. Finally, my number 1 pick, Habitat 67. Habitat 67 is located in Montreal, Quebec, and was completed in 1967 for the Montreal World Exhibition. The exhibition was themed Habitat, hence the name Habitat 67. This shares a lot of the DNA that we saw from the first project, Sky Habitat Residential Development. You can see how Moshe Safdie started with these ideas and then further develop them into the large-scale urban habitat. What I like about this building in particular is its whimsy. I don't think this is the best photo I've ever seen of it. It's kind of grim with sort of a winter scene. I think there are way better images of it. But what I do like about this project is how Moshe Safdie creates interstitial spaces in between the shapes of the buildings. I think the main idea of this development is that all of the pods are prefabricated units that are slot into place almost like Legos. And in that way, I see this as in a similar way to the first project where it was a hillside town. This almost to me looks like a bunch of Legos swept up onto a pile, and that's the building itself. I think it's very whimsical, and I really love the interstitial spaces that it creates. In the same way that the living spaces are arranged on several tiers, there are streets and walkways and even play spaces for children on different levels. Each unit has its own rooftop terrace, and it's interesting how this project grew organically. They might have initially been several different types of houses, but throughout time, a homeowner would have bought the apartment next to them, combining the two and creating a larger one. And so this building has sort of gained a life of its own. For me, this building is one of Moshe Safdie's best projects, even though it was one of his very first projects. Those are my 5 favorite projects from Moshe Safdie. Do you agree with my picks? Please let me know what your 5 favorite projects are down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.